Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for April of 2021. For you, Scorpio, this month's themes focus around relationships and social life in general. And you can take a really good look at that in a lifelong love reading. You'll find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, Jupiter is moving along through Aquarius, which is a very social sign, and it's bringing growth and expansion, confidence and joy to whatever area of your chart has Aquarius in it. And that would most likely be house 4, or it might be house 3. Let's take a look. Here's Jupiter, probably in your 4th house, but if you did have late Scorpio rising, Jupiter would probably be appearing in your 3rd house. So I'm going to say a little bit about each. If Jupiter is traveling through your 4th house this year, then you're experiencing that joy and that confidence and that fun in your home life and with your family members or people that you live with. And that can be great. It can be expansive. It can make you feel really good about home. Jupiter's presence in your 4th house can also bring a restlessness and a desire to move house. So that could be in the cards for you this year. Now, if you have late Scorpio rising, then Jupiter would actually still be traveling through your 3rd house this year. And if that's the case, then this is a really good year for communication projects, such as writing projects or discovering your voice. And so utilizing that would be a really good idea. Obviously, in a reading, you can find out exactly where Jupiter is and how long it's going to be there so that you can utilize it to the fullest. And if you do want to move house this year, that might be a really good thing to find out, because I can tell you when you're going to have the best luck. And you can also find out more about Jupiter in Aquarius specifically in our video about it on our YouTube channel. Pandora Astrology in the 2021 news playlist. Well, Julia, I know you've got some news for the Scorpios of the world about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. What's up?
Oh, all right, Jamie. Well, hey there, Scorpio. I'm about to tell you what's up. So Mercury, that planet of communication, the planet of mentation, very early in the month on April 3rd is going to move into your 6th house. This is the house of organization, the house of work, and Mercury loves to be in this house. So this is a wonderful start to the month to get on your spring cleaning because your mind will just be very organized for it. You know, whether that means clearing out your cloud on your computer or tackling your Tupperware, whatever it is, this is a great use of that transit. Now, Mercury is moving really, really fast this month. So by April 19th, it's going to hop into your 7th house of partnership. The 7th house rules all one-to-one relationships. So it's also not just the house of marriage or long-term partnership. It's also the house of consultants too. When you need to kind of hire someone, whether it's a marketing consultant or a lawyer or a counselor or a doctor, just to have a one-to-one sort of exchange of ideas with on some type of issue. So this will be a wonderful transit for any type of having your best thoughts will basically be coming from bouncing them off another person. So a wonderful time to hire any type of consultant as well. Now Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, also begins the month in your 6th house. So you might even be whistling while you work and organizing your house, because Venus brings pleasure wherever she goes. And this is the house of organization. So again, that's really going to bootstrap you to sort of tackle those projects. Since this is also a work house, Venus here can mean that you could be getting along well with the people you work with too, whether they're clients, customers, bosses, coworkers, etc. So a really great time for smoothing over anything that needs a little touch of diplomacy at work too, because Venus is a very peacekeeping planet. Then on April 14th, she's going to hop into your 7th house, and she loves to be in this house because this is the house of partnership. Wonderful time if you're single to go out there on a few dates, meet someone interesting. And if you're in a relationship, a wonderful time for getting along well with your partner. So enjoy that. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, begins the month in your 8th house of other people's money. So the 8th house, it's the money that you share with the people closest to you, like family members, through something like an inheritance or a joint credit card with your partner. It can also represent money you share with an institution institution like taxes, investments, mortgages, those things. Now, Mars can bring its frustrations along, and we are in the beginning of tax season. So it's a very, very good time to expend your energy, because that's what Mars represents, trying to kind of do any research you need to keep the books in order too during this cycle. But some of the things that Mars can bring is sometimes a little bit of conflict too. So it can be a time of fighting with people over money as well. Then on April 23rd, Mars is going to hop into your 9th house of adventure. This is Jupiter's house. So it rules all the things that expand you, whether it's philosophical, intellectual expansion, or just expanding yourself through new experiences. So when Mars comes into this house, you're going to want to just go on some adventure, maybe go off for a trip, do something that kind of, that's sort of adventurous, that's expansive. So hopefully you can organize something like a little vacation time to maybe stay at an Airbnb on the beach or something. But if you have to stay home and work a lot, then this can be a very stir-crazy time.
Julia, your advice about taking action on things like taxes was so good that I had to make myself a note about it. Thanks, Scorpio.
Oh, tax season, she's a coming up, and that's some 8th house stuff,
right?
Before.
Yeah, so true. So we are seeing a seasonal shift this month. The month begins with a lot of planets here in Aries in the 6th house, which is the house of work and organizing things. But over the course of the month, those things gradually shift over into the 7th house, particularly the sun, which really just kind of cements that the emphasis has shifted to the 7th house of relationship and partnership when it moves into Taurus on the 19th and 20th. So that's the beginning of Taurus season, which is the season of flowers and lovely smells. And this is the house of relationship for you. And so it's really time to enjoy and take pleasure in your partnerships and engage, physically with your partner as well, and just enjoy, the slowing down and the settling into your body that comes with that. So that is a wonderful feature of Taurus season in general. And we've got a couple of moons to talk about as well. Earlier in the month on the 11th, while the sun is in Aries and that big emphasis is happening in your 6th house, we have got a new moon in Aries right there in your 6th house, bringing even more attention and energy to those themes of, it's time to be organized. It's time to spiff up your systems and improve on them. And also pay attention to your health routines. And so this new moon, we're calling it assertive, but also relatable, because there are a lot of relationship themes built into this moon because Venus is here, but there are also a lot of themes of assertion and directness because of the Mars emphasis. Mars has a connection to this moon, and then there's the big pile of planets in Aries that bring that theme as well. So taking action and leaping in and doing that organization, lighting that spark of organization and having it be an occasion for creating beauty as well. Those are great activities under that new moon for you specifically, Scorpio. Now, later in the month, we have a full moon in your sign, Scorpio, and that is coming up on the 26th right here. And that full moon falls in your 1st house. It's going to be the most emotional moon of the year for you, most likely. When the moon falls in your 1st house, it's a time for feeling. It's a time for a lot of feelings to come up to the surface. And that can be great because, Scorpio, sometimes you have a way of kind of clamping down on feelings because you don't want to be seen having any. And that's actually the opposite to your life goal, which is to create intimate connections with others. So this moon can kind of like, open up that lock on the volcano, and the emotions that come out might be really big, but it might be a pretty good cleansing that happens too. I think that what's really important is to keep it from having a negative impact on your relationship. You can count on your partner to bring, you know, a sort of an objective viewpoint to counterpoise your emotions. So, but don't take that the wrong way. You know, your partner may just be trying to help you get more grounded. And that's because Uranus and the sun are sitting here in the 7th house opposite that full moon. So, I want to talk a little bit about Pluto going retrograde this month, which it's going to, and we'll see that happening on right here around the 27th, 28th. Pluto goes retrograde. And this is really the beginning of the part of the year where increasingly, as we move into the late spring and the summer and into the fall especially, it will become more and more challenging to begin a large project. And you're kind of asking for, if you do it, you know, as the year goes on, if you do it later and later in the year, you're kind of asking for it to be, you know, full of obstacles. So this Pluto turning retrograde is the beginning of that increasing phenomenon. And if in fact you're actually having a Pluto transit this year, you might really feel this day when Pluto turns retrograde, or you might feel yourself wanting to cocoon anywhere within about a week surrounding that day, the 26th, as Pluto turns retrograde and takes those of us who are having a Pluto transit this year on an inward journey to discover what is it that must transform in my life this year. Now, if Pluto is transiting something in your chart, you would be feeling those feelings of like wanting to cocoon and like, oh my God, I'm going into meltdown and I'm changing, but I don't know what I'm turning into and what that's going to look like. And it's a kind of a scary feeling. And if you want some insight about that, you can find out more about it in a reading, particularly the timing of it and how long it's going to last, when it's going to be over, and when it's going to peak during it as well, and how to handle it too. I mean, that's the most important part, right? If you have anything in your chart from 24 to 26 degrees of any cardinal sign at all, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, or Libra, then you would absolutely be feeling this Pluto. And we would love to help you out with that. Well, that's all that we have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We love to see you around our corner of the cosmos. You can find us on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. You can also find us on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you can find horoscopes, the monthly forecast, readings that you can get, and even classes that you can take. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.